So I just want to remind you that the Silicon Valley Health Institute is nonprofit and that there is an annual membership dues of $60, or we are operating on donations. So if anybody would like to make a donation, that would be very welcome. And we're going to start tonight out with some questions and answers. So let's begin with anyone that raised their hand that has a particular topic they would like to ask about, or something they want to share about what a breakthrough healing experience that you've had.
Unfortunately, I don't see Dr. Monk. Where is she here? No. Okay. But she had last time, she was the main speaker. And right away I went to her because I knew I had infection in the teeth. And she just totally blew me away. If somebody wants to know why and what, I'm happy to share. But just give her credit. I just told people how great you are.
We were just talking about soup, and I recommend her highly also. I've been talking with her many times, and I've recommended her to a lot of people. So we're just talking about how great you are at her work and everything. So, yes.
I'm just wondering, 10 years ago I was in a wheelchair from low levels of carbon monoxide poisoning over a long period of time, and using peroxide therapy, and I have a hyperbaric chamber and some ozone therapy. I've been able to basically bring everything back. I'm walking now, I can talk. It was pretty incredible. So I'm really excited about tonight, hearing all those little things I think I'm going to learn.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's an incredible result that you've had. Okay, anybody else?
Michael. My father had a surgery about 3 weeks ago, and he has had some pretty hard side effects or reactions to the anesthesia they used on him. So I'm just wondering if anyone else has been in a situation of recovering from a surgery and having some effects from the anesthesia and getting it out of your system and recovering your strength and presence of mind and your whole self back. So. Oh, he had they fused two vertebrae together in response to impingement on their spinal cord. So, thank you.
Yeah, there's two things that I would comment about. One is that if he has a genetic screening done, you can find out which anesthetics he gracefully metabolizes and which ones that he doesn't, in terms of what his liver can handle. But the main point would be that anesthetics suppress your metabolic rate. And if you already have a low metabolic rate and it gets suppressed by the anesthetic, when you come out of the anesthetic, you may not come back to your full metabolic rate. And you may have a residual hypometabolism that lingers. And one of the most effective ways of dealing with that is to take a little bit of thyroid hormone periodically. Just bump your metabolism up a little bit. Just keep bumping it up until your pre-operative body temperature and your post-operative one are comparable.
Going to mention that a lot of patients can't break down the anesthesia, mostly due to genetic changes, like my colleague was saying. So there are some things you can do right away, even before you get a test back, to know exactly what his genomics are. You can increase his antioxidants as much as possible, starting with food, things like berries, lots of green leafy vegetables, as much as you can. I'm talking like 12 servings a day. of vegetables and maybe 2 servings of fruit, depending on, if he's insulin resistant or what else is going on with him. And then you may consider looking at things that increase your glutathione. So glutathione is one of the most potent antioxidants that our body makes. There are things that help you make more, and there's also foods that contain it. For example, avocados are one, kiwis are another, and then you can take N-acetylcysteine. There's many other supplements that you can take to boost the levels, and you can even buy glutathione in a liposomal form. And then also increasing methylation, but that you get with all your B vitamins. So if you're eating lots of green leafy vegetables, you're at least getting some there. And then once you know your genomics, you know just how much to increase it.
Thank you.
Just to add to the very wise comments, perioperative state is an extremely confusing one for the body because you're not only under anesthesia, you're given antibiotics, you're given opiates. So there's an enormous burden on hepatic metabolism. So anything that enables metabolic function has been commented on, but our own traditions aren't as good at doing that as the European traditions. So there are specific traditions that Dr. Rowan knows about and so on that I do too that enable hepatic metabolism to be optimized, as well as any elimination pathway, whether it's making sure that someone is having bowel movements every day. So of course, in addition to nutrition, in addition to thyroid, in addition to anti-inflammatories, you have to understand that the body's been under 24/7 stress for a period of around 10 days with that type of environment. It's going to take 3 days for every day your loved one spends in bed to get anywhere close to being back to normal. So anything that could enable them to get out of bed and have circulatory movement and so on will also help.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else about that? And any other questions or topics of discussion people want to talk about?
I have a flame esophagus, and I had a, the procedure that and so they put me on these blocks, and I'm supposed to go back in another week to do it again, but I wondered if you had any, I don't want to take that stuff anymore after that, and the doctor said, oh, you might have to take them forever. So any suggestions? I'm taking aloe vera and the, enzymes, and any other suggestions?
Anyone would like to address that?
These are always complicated cases, especially if you've already been on some pharmacological treatment. But one thing I would start off with, if you haven't already done, is eliminate gluten and dairy from your diet. You may even do a whole elimination diet where you can also eliminate soy and corn. But especially gluten and dairy, the research is showing, can be really tied to the ability of the stomach sphincter, or you can think of it as sort of the gate to be closed to the esophagus, so that the acid from the stomach doesn't get back into the esophagus. So I would, if you haven't done that, I would do that, and then also look at increasing your probiotics if you're already taking one, and taking a really high dose one, and really looking at your bowel health too. For example, you can have go to a health practitioner. They can do a test to look at your comprehensive stool analysis to get an idea, how is the stomach, the pancreas, the gallbladder, and the liver all working and communicating, because they basically communicate via the first part of the small intestine. And if there's any breaks in that communication, that will also really affect it.
Thank you. Anybody else? I know, Bert, you have an announcement you'd like to make.
All right. First of all, I want to introduce two guests of mine that are here and future speakers. Dr. Avi Herskowitz, he's a cardiologist, immunologist, and also does ozone therapy and IVs and vitamin C and acupuncture as well. And he's at the 1700 California Street. And matter of fact, my daughter is going there 3 times a week, and we're getting some really good treatment. And also another thing that Avi, he has a great staff there. It's a whole comprehensive medical group. It's naturopath, chiropractors, and I think we're going to try to get him to speak on June. And we're working on that right now, Susan and I. And so he's valuable information. And behind him is another friend, Scott Schur. He practices MD. He's a medical doctor in Sequoia Hospital, and he also has the Oxidative Institute in San Francisco, right near the ballpark, right? Yeah, hyperbaric. So if you're interested in hyperbaric and anything like that, that's the man you want to talk to. And if you go to a game and you suddenly have a stroke, run into his office right there, because you're very close to the ballpark. You know, matter of fact, it's one of the best things in the world.
Let's go to the hospital first.
No, go to your place first, because hyperbaric. And then we got Robin Rowan here too. Okay, and we have New Living Expo coming up next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the San Mateo Event Center. It's a new location this year. Due to the Bryant Street no longer is going to be available, so San Mateo Event Center, and if you don't have, you can go to New Living Expo. Dr. T and I will be doing a panel together on Saturday at 5 o'clock, right? And Richard Cunyon is in the panel, and so is Nick Delgado. So that's a 2-hour or 1.5-hour panel, and that's going to be an exciting one. So. And having spoken to Richard the other day, I had him come visit Avi's office to see what he does. We had a nice conversation on methylation and a lot of epigenetics and genomics. So we're going to talk a lot about that. Then, when is Dr. T giving his lecture? Does he have a private? Well, yeah. And then on Sunday at 5 o'clock, I'm giving a... okay. I'm giving a lecture on Sunday evening at 5 o'clock, and I'm going to be talking about some of the work that we're doing with Dr. Elizabeth Mazzio at the Florida University, which we had a nice discussion at dinner about the medicinal plants that have anti-tumor mechanism, anti-proliferation, and neurological repairing. There's a compound found in the seed that actually causes neurogenesis, the increased growth of neurons that have been damaged from all types of dementia or Parkinson's, all that. And a lot of work on the mitochondria and how to increase mitochondria function, and also looking at the latest research in gerontology from UCSF and also at USC. And also I'll discuss 2 of my cases with UCSF on MS and cancer that are now in 4 or 5 years in remission with liver and pancreatic cancer. So that's going to be next weekend, okay?
Any other announcements anyone has?
So following right along on that, and Dr. Friedlander's announcement, I do want to tell you a little bit more about Dr. T. He's going to be here after the expo. And Saturday, May 3rd, there's flyers up there that will explain this more, but Saturday, May 3rd, he's going to be giving a skin clinic. What? At her place. And the address is on the flyer if you're interested in finding out more about skin health and the way that Dr. T treats any kind of skin lesion, which is the most uninvasive way you can probably do it and have complete, get things out by the root and have complete healing and almost no scarring. Then also Sunday, May 4th, we're going to have what we call Anti-Inflammation Day. And as you know, who was it that said there's one disease and it's inflammation? So, who said that? Who?
It's not that is one disease of cellular malfunction. I don't know. There's inflammation that stimulates.
Anyway, whatever. But we are having an anti-inflammation day celebration, actually. And again, there's a flyer up there that will explain more about that if you're at all interested in coming. We're going to have some breakthrough announcements about some supplements and various things that are available to help get inflammation down and get rid of it, in fact, if at all possible. And it'll be, Dr. T will be the main speaker. We're going to also be jumping around and dancing if you want to do that. So we're going to have fun and a potluck and bring down inflammation. So there's both of these flyers are up there, and you can please pick them up if you're at all interested. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is just a reminder that I'm hosting the self-care working group through meetup.com. And if you're interested in attending that, go to meetup.com and join the Project Wellbeing group. And you'll also, as a side benefit, get announcements about this meetup, this meeting as well, through that particular meetup group. Thank you.
Okay, so you're going to be introducing.